Now at 9, the Jasper County Courthouse in Carthage is officially reopened. We're going to check out the renovations. Plus, some Taiwanese and Japanese students at Pitt State get an early taste of America's Independence Day. And the Chanute Public Library gives kids a demonstration on drones.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. The fireworks shows might have a glitch tomorrow with the possibility of severe storms moving in. Let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, and we've even had scattered storms outside for us across portions of the region today. 92 is our high. Average high is 89. 100 is our record. Temperatures still pretty warm, upper 70s to lower 80s across the region. We've had thunderstorms kind of booming through our southern counties, kind of falling apart a little bit. We're losing the heating of the day just a bit, but we still have some scattered thunderstorms once you get down into southern parts of Missouri. So pretty quiet the next couple hours. After midnight, showers and thunderstorms pick up again, especially in our northern counties. So this is going to affect Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, maybe toward Lamar as these continue to work through. So here's 4 a.m. working into southwestern Missouri by 5:30 in the morning. And then we clear out just in time for the 4th of July. But another severe threat rolls in by tomorrow evening. So we're going to be talking about that here in a bit.
See you soon. Authorities conclude an investigation into the discovery of a body at the scene of a house fire in Anderson, Missouri. That fire happened early Monday on Park Street. Authorities found a woman's body inside the home. Well, now an investigation and autopsy indicate that woman, 52-year-old Gina McCormick, set fire to the building, then fatally shot herself. Authorities say they do not suspect foul play. Local firefighters recover after battling a fire in this high heat index when crews responded to a house fire near Golden City, Missouri late yesterday afternoon. The house was already engulfed with flames visible from all sides. One firefighter was taken to the hospital for heat exhaustion and smoke inhalation. A second was treated at the scene. The house was a total loss. Offices at the Jasper County Courthouse are back in operation after a pipe burst earlier this year, causing the flooding and destruction of many of the offices. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
I'm tickled to death that everybody's back here and the staff has expressed the same thing.
The county collector, as well as many other offices at the Jasper County Courthouse, have been reopened to the public. County Collector Steve McIntosh received a not-so-pleasant phone call on January 17th earlier this year.
When I got here, there's no power. People were all over the place. The sheriff, my chief deputy, and her husband are in here. They beat me in here. 2 inches of water on the floor, ceiling tile falling down, water gushing down on us. It's like, wow.
Over the past 6 months, he's watched as a renovation that took 2 years to complete was torn out.
2.5-year remodel that we had just finished, not even a week before.
However, the issues didn't stop there.
It got worse when they had to abate the lead-based paint on the ceiling. That took all the ceiling grid down, took all the drywall out of here.
All staff were moved over to the collector's office in Joplin, and taxpayers either had to solely conduct their business online or make the commute to Joplin.
Hey, we had a few complaints, but if you look at the number of people we serve and deal with on a regular basis, daily basis, it was a very small number because most people understood.
Now the time has come for taxpayers to make their way back to the courthouse, where operations will continue as usual. Reporting in Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
McIntosh also says he's grateful for the public's patience. You can find this entire story and previous coverage of the courthouse flood on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The 4th of July festivities around the 4 states roll on tonight in Carl Junction, Missouri. The Carl Junction Area Chamber of Commerce hosted the Firecracker on Wheels decorating party. Kids of all ages were invited to come out with everything from bikes to trikes to scooters, anything else with wheels, and decorate them in patriotic style.
But what we've done is usually we have lots of kids that'll show up and they bring their bikes and decorate them. So instead of them having to do that early in the morning, we offer the building for them to come so that they can decorate their bikes here this evening. Our church leaders, they're out there decorating the church float, so we're getting all that done tonight too.
The kids will ride their patriotic wheels during Carl Junction's 4th of July parade. Church in Joplin's also getting in on the 4th of July action tonight. Celebration Church today hosted a celebration of freedom. The family-friendly event featured food, bounce houses, games, worship, and capped off with an outdoor movie viewing. Officials say it's a way to bring the community together.
It makes me feel great. This year, it's election year. It can be divisive for people. This is a time, no matter what background, just to come together and just, celebrate our freedom and the goodness of where we live.
Very important holiday, one of my favorites. It's where I'm able to go out and just show how much I love my country, how much I appreciate the people I know and everyone, all the veterans. Just a way for me to show my gratitude to my country.
Wow, and look at that sunburn. The event also had live music, kickball, and cornhole. Some international students at Pitt State got a head start on Independence Day celebrations. The intensive English program held its own party today with about 60 Japanese and Taiwanese students. They got to share food and experiences and learn about what the holiday means to the nation.
To expect with what kinds of foods they're going to see, how it's celebrated, and to also learn about what it's all about. Because coming from different countries, they don't fully know what that history is. So we get to be able to kind of teach them and prepare them for what's going on.
The intensive English class will also host a canoe and kayaking event with lawn games and a cookout at the University Lake on July 16th. Coming up, how the CDC is battling both a summer surge of COVID and the looming threat of bird flu. The FDA approved a new drug that could slow the progression of early symptomatic Alzheimer's disease. The drug is given in monthly infusions and has only been shown to work in people with very early onset symptoms of Alzheimer's. In a large trial, it slowed the decline of cognitive function overall by about 22% over 18 months. Doctors say the treatment is an incremental advance, but that time matters.
And that may sound like, oh, what's the big deal? Well, that's a big deal if you have a wedding, something in your life, if you want to do something. We're not reversing it. It's not a cure.
You're slowing it down.
Slow the decline.
The drug is set to be available in just weeks. It costs $32,000 per year and is covered by Medicare Part B. The CDC is making a big push for COVID vaccines as dozens of states all across the U.S. see a spike in cases. It comes as public health officials try to tackle another virus, bird flu. Fox's Jared Halpern has details.
As millions of Americans head out for summer vacation, the CDC is warning of another nationwide COVID surge. New government data shows cases are on the rise in nearly every state due to the spread of so-called flirt variants.
They come from a sub-lineage of the Omicron variant called JN.1, and these are kind of the dominant variants that are circulating.
Doctors also say recent heat waves across the U.S. are keeping more people indoors. That leads to increased COVID transmission, and cases are expected to rise once again in the fall and winter. The CDC is recommending Americans ages 6 months and older receive an updated COVID vaccine, even if they have previously been vaccinated against the virus.
If you get infected in 1 year, you may have immunity against that particular variant, but 1 or 2 years down the road, if the virus has evolved enough, you may be susceptible again to infection.
As states battle another COVID surge, federal officials are taking steps to protect against another possible health threat, bird flu. The Department of Health and Human Services announcing Tuesday Moderna will be awarded $176 million in federal funding to develop a human vaccine against the virus. According to the CDC, bird flu was detected earlier this year in dairy cows and has since spread to herds in a dozen states. Still, federal health officials stress the risk to the general public remains low. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later a former Gorilla is named the new interim head coach of Utah State's football program.
Well, of course, it turned out to be kind of a hot one outside for us today. Temperatures back up into the 90s, and we have had some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. Not a ton, but we've had those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Looks good right now. This is our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam, which is in downtown Joplin. All right, so as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight, we've had some scattered thunderstorms, mainly in our southern counties, but now we're losing the heating of the day, so these are falling apart. So we're pretty quiet over the next several hours, and then we're going to kind of focus our attention to what's going on out toward the west. Showers and thunderstorms, central western Kansas. This line will kind of drive through, but mainly just affect our northern counties later on tonight. So most of us will stay dry from this point on. All right, here's midnight. Looking pretty good. Scattered thunderstorms picking up northern counties. So we're talking Yates Center, Iola, Humboldt, Fort Scott, Nevada as we go through the night. Showers and thunderstorms stay in our northern counties, and then they try to drop a little farther south by 4 a.m., kind of tracking through southwest Missouri over towards Stockton Lake, and then we'll be gone by the time we head into the morning hours. All right, rainfall tonight because it's mainly going to be in our northern counties, but then we're going to get additional showers and thunderstorms for us late in the day tomorrow, and that will give kind of the heart in our southern counties better chances for rain. We even have a severe threat, level 2 out of 5 for you on your 4th of July. 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. is the main timing. We'll keep the threats low now. The main threat's going to be hail and wind, but something we'll definitely keep our eyes on as we go into Thursday. All right, so by noon tomorrow, back near 90. As we get into the afternoon, showers, scattered thunderstorms start to pop up, especially northeastern Oklahoma, and drives east, mainly along and south of the I-44 corridor. But you can see big complexes of thunderstorms rolling through. Here's 7 p.m. Of course, a lot of people grilling out and, of course, want to shoot fireworks off tomorrow evening, so we got to get these storms out of here by that time. Here's 9 p.m., drying out Kansas, Oklahoma, but still thunderstorms ongoing in southwestern Missouri, and then mainly out of here by 10 or 10:30. So hopefully we'll get these through pretty quick as we get into the evening hours. A little bit cooler by Friday morning, we'll drop back into the mid-60s, and then check this out on Friday afternoon. Looks great. High temps into the mid-80s. All right, 4th of July. Here's your forecast starting into the 70s, 92 by noon, 97 by 5, some isolated thunderstorms, scattered thunderstorms through the evening, and hopefully out of here by 10 p.m. with a temperature dropping back into the mid-80s. Plus, we're going to have high heat indices tomorrow, but an alert day for the severe threat. Then let's go 85 on Friday. Lower humidity looks great. 90 on Saturday, 93 on Sunday. Some more thunderstorms rolling in late Sunday, but the bulk of the holiday weekend shaping up pretty good.
Yeah, Friday looking particularly nice. It's just a shame that we have storms moving in when a lot of people are planning to have fireworks.
I know.
Thanks, Doug. The Public Library in Chinook, Kansas today gave kids a chance to fly drones. The drones, part of the library's summer program, were used to encourage kids to visit their local library. Organizers say they want to make sure kids know libraries offer more than just books, and they can find a good time in an educational setting.
We are doing a drone today because we are engaging with more community, especially with children's. And then we also offer for the variety of the opportunity to learning and during the summertime. And then we also have we need to let them know that we have more than books and to having fun.
The Chinook Public Library holds multiple summer programs. You can find out more on the library's Facebook page. Coming up, the cost of a cookout.
Barbecue costs are flaring up. I'm Madison Allworth. My dad and I, we've got the grill going as we take a look at how much more costly July 4th cookouts have become.
Here's another reason to celebrate this 4th of July. Website Gas Buddy predicts nationwide gasoline prices are going to hit a 3-year low, averaging $3.49. That could mean serious savings for the more than 60 million Americans who are expected to hit the road this week. That's according to AAA. Firing up the grill for July 4th has gotten pricier this year. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth is starting her July 4th celebrations early. She's working the grill with her dad, and she's taking a look at how much costlier July 4th cookouts have gotten.
You can't feign the inflation. You can't feign the high prices. We've got them. They're here.
Your 4th of July cookout bill, it's going to cost you more this year compared to last year. That's according to the American Farm Bureau.
Burgers, dogs, steaks on the grill.
Fresh fruit, I like pie. To host a group of 10, you can expect to shell out $71.22 for the celebration, up 5% from last year. Nationally, this means we are surpassing $7 per person for the first time, with it coming up to $7.12 a person. Meat will put the biggest dent in your budget. 2 pounds of ground beef will cost an average of $12.77, up more than $1 from last year. Only 2 dishes decreased in price compared to last year. Chicken, a 4% decrease since 2023, and potato salad, that's down 4% from last year.
Ice cream, more and more ice cream, that's where we are here.
And who could forget dessert? A half gallon of ice cream will add $5.65 to your grocery bill, up 7% from last year. Shoppers and experts have a couple ways you can try to save.
A lot of the generic products are pretty much the same products as the branded, and they can be 20 or 15 to 20% cheaper.
I do usually do some couponing. Though some of these prices may shock you, it's all in line with the inflation that has tied up the economy over the last several years. Inflation, unfortunately, sticking around for the July 4th holiday. In New Jersey, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
The personal information of more than 1,000 Ticketmaster customers has been exposed in a data breach. Ticketmaster confirmed hackers obtained information including emails, phone numbers, and credit card numbers. The company believes all customers affected by the breach have been notified. They're offering identity monitoring services to those who enroll within 90 days of receiving the notice. Up next, we're going to learn the story behind this nearly 250-year-old photo acquired by the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery has purchased a historic photo. It paid $456,000 for a picture of former First Lady Dolly Madison. Historians think it was taken in 1846. That's nearly 30 years after her husband James Madison's presidency ended. It also put her in her late 70s at the time it was taken. It's the first known photograph of a First Lady. Madison is credited with creating the role of First Lady as it's known today. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. How a new legislative committee in Missouri aims to combat crimes by illegal immigrants. Plus, the Biden administration is in cleanup mode, trying to fix the president's image after a disappointing debate performance.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOIM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. Lawmakers in Missouri have formed a special committee on illegal immigrant crimes. Leaders say it's an effort to identify the extent of crimes committed by people living in Missouri illegally. But as Morgan Barres reports, some disagree with the committee's motivation.
The message needs to be, if you're not here in the state of Missouri legally, you're going to be detained and you're going to be deported if you're committing crimes.
Missouri House Speaker Dean Plocher says he has been plagued with questions about what Missouri is doing about illegal immigration. Committee Chair Lane Roberts says this committee will now work to identify the extent of crimes by people in Missouri illegally and determine solutions.
This is first and foremost about crime. What do we do to protect the Missouri citizen, and particularly how it relates to illegal immigration? That's the nexus.
Data provided by the House shows last year there were more than 1,700 homicide-related crimes by non-citizens in the U.S. This is up compared to 2022, but still down compared to 2020. Columbia Representative David Tyson Smith says this is not an issue in Missouri and believes this committee is a waste of time and resources. He says it's all for political talking points.
If we were really serious about these issues, we would form a special committee on gun violence to crack down on the shootings that are happening all over our state that need to be clamped down on.
However, some committee members say people living in the U.S. illegally are to blame for an increase in fentanyl and sex trafficking, including in the Lake area.
This committee is absolutely going to be looking at a variety of crimes, sex trafficking being one of those. And it has absolutely increased because of our open borders.
The first committee hearing is going to be on July 11th. The Fordyce, Arkansas grocery store that was the site of a deadly mass shooting has reopened its doors with limited hours. 4 people were killed, 10 others injured from that June 21st shooting at the Mad Butcher grocery store south of Little Rock. Some members of the public described the reopening as a crucial step in the town's rehealing process. Accused gunman Travis Posey faces multiple charges. No word on the motive for that shooting. Democrats are gearing up for another high-stakes week as pressure mounts on President Biden to decide if he'll stay in the race or step aside. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more.
The White House in damage control mode.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Since last week's disastrous debate, and the fallout now showing up in poll numbers. A brand new New York Times Siena poll shows President Biden trailing former President Trump with 41% to 49% among registered voters after the debate. It's the largest gap so far in this race. Biden will try to shore up support with a group of Democratic governors, some making the trip to Washington to see him in person.
I think that there's a healthy discussion going on within the Democratic Party. Joe Biden is going to be our nominee unless he decides otherwise.
The president has also spoken with top Democratic leaders in Congress. Publicly, most are supportive, but reports are surfacing that some could be planning to ask him to step aside.
50 million Americans saw the debate. They have real concerns. And regardless of what the president decides, it's going to need to be a team sport going forward.
The White House is also dealing with a bombshell story from the New York Times reporting Biden told a key ally he's weighing whether or not to stay in the race. The administration denies that conversation ever happened.
Is President Biden considering stepping down?
Absolutely not.
President Biden will sit down for his first interview since the debate, airing on ABC News this weekend. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
A bit later, the first hurricane of the season.
After devastating the Southeast Caribbean, Hurricane Beryl making its path toward Jamaica. I'm Robert Ray in Jamaica with the details coming up.
Well, of course, another hot, humid day for us today, and we did get some scattered showers and thunderstorms, about 40–50% of the region throughout the day. And it's pretty calm outside right now. Here's a nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Terracam, which, of course, is in downtown Joplin. All right, severe threat for this evening is gone, as all these storms that we had in our southern counties pretty much lost the heating of the day, so it's going to be pretty calm as we go through the next several hours, but then some additional scattered thunderstorms in our northern counties will start to pop up later on tonight. This is due to the thunderstorms out across central and western parts of Kansas. You can see severe thunderstorm watches, but these are going to march across the state of Kansas and kind of flare up some showers and thunderstorms in our region as we get into later on tonight. You can see scattered thunderstorms really for Donia, Neodesha, Yates Center, mainly our northern counties, kind of pushing through the region, maybe getting as far south as Chanute. Here's 1:30 in the morning. Let's continue, still skirting mainly our northern counties by 3 a.m. And then this batch will dive in a little bit farther south. So here's 4:30 in the morning, Chanute, maybe down to Parsons, and then kind of drives across Pittsburgh and even a few showers, trying to get north of I-44. Here's 6 a.m. And then most of these are going to be out here by 7 or 8 o'clock. So most of the storms later tonight will affect areas along and north of I-44. All right, rainfall potential over the next 24 hours. A lot of areas are going to pick up quarter, half an inch, but there are going to be some isolated areas that pick up about an inch of rain. All right, severe threat tomorrow, level 2 out of 5. I'm going to keep the threats low for now, but the main threat is hail and wind. Timing about 4 p.m. till about 9 or 10 p.m. Most of the day is going to be dry if you are doing barbecues, getting outside. It's going to be hot, lower 90s by noon. I think most of us will get mid to upper 90s as we get into the afternoon hours. Scattered thunderstorms start to pop up along the I-44 corridor as we get into the evening. So here's 7 p.m., strong to severe storms pushing through the region. Here's 9 p.m., mainly on the Missouri side, and most of these out of here by about 10 p.m. So hopefully they'll speed their process up just a little bit. And then we look pretty good, mid-60s tomorrow night, Friday looks great. Humidity drops. Temperatures for highs mainly into the mid-80s by Friday afternoon. So your 4th of July, hot, of course. 92 by noon, 97 by 5, 86 by 10 p.m. But we are going to be dodging those scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go through the evening hours. You can see our rain chances. Here's 3 p.m. tomorrow, go up and then start to taper off as we go through the overnight hours for us tomorrow night. All right, alert day tomorrow with that possible severe threat. Friday looks great. Saturday looks pretty good. Some additional thunderstorms late Sunday, and then cooler again Monday and Tuesday. So a nice stretch of temperatures at least.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that the worst day of that extended weekend is going to be the 4th.
I know, it does sting.
Thanks, Doug. When severe weather strikes, you're going to want to stay informed, and you can do that by scanning this QR code. It'll take you to the KOIM News Now YouTube page, where our weather team will live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Thousands of people have been forced to evacuate their homes as a wildfire burns in Northern California. It comes as the western U.S. experiences a days-long heat wave. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has more.
Dry air and gusty winds creating the perfect storm for fire conditions in California on Wednesday.
There was decent, really looked about 10, 15, 20-foot flames.
70 miles north of Sacramento, officials say the Thompson fire has burned more than 3,000 acres since igniting on Tuesday. It's destroyed multiple structures and forced some 13,000 people in Butte County to evacuate.
I've got a trail cam on the property and I see firefighters in and out, but looks like they're doing their job.
Officials say the cause of the fire is under investigation. Hundreds of firefighters as well as helicopters and air tankers now scrambling to contain the flames.
Having the diversion pool close by helps our helicopters because they have about a 1-minute turnaround time from a drop to picking up water.
The Thompson fire is one of several wildfires burning throughout the West. With a massive heat wave now in effect, officials fear the warm weather could further dry out vegetation and spark more flames. In Northern California, forecasters say some cities could see days of highs topping 100 degrees. Earlier this week, Pacific Gas and Electric shut off power in parts of the region as a precaution.
We want to be in the de-energized state safely before those winds start up because that takes away the risk of catastrophic wildfire.
On Tuesday, the governor's office announced federal funding was approved to help fight these fires. In Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
Coming up in sports, a Crowder Rough Rider announces his commitment to Pitt State. Plus, a PSU alum gets the chance to lead a Division I football program. John Dale says those stories and more coming up next.
Nate Dreiling was a national champion and an All-American as a football player at Pitt State back in the early 2010s. He came back to PSU as an assistant coach later that decade, and this week, the Gorilla alum gets the opportunity of a lifetime. Dreiling is promoted to interim head coach at Utah State, which is a Division I FBS school and competes in the Mountain West Conference. The former Aggie head coach Blake Anderson, who hired Dreiling as defensive coordinator in January this year, was under external investigation for noncompliance with Title IX policies involving sexual misconduct. Then the university announced yesterday its intention to fire Anderson and promote Dreiling to interim head coach for the 2024 football season. Now, Dreiling was named the Division II Defensive Player of the Year in 2011 while helping lead the Gorillas to a national championship. Here's a look at his coaching timeline leading to this opportunity. He began as a grad assistant at Kansas back in 2015. From there, came back to Pitt State, first as a safeties coach, then a defensive coordinator, then moved on to Oregon, Southeast Missouri State, and New Mexico State under the direction of fellow Pitt State alum Jerry Kill. He begins his first season as a head coach at 33 years old. Switching gears to college basketball, Missouri Southern Men's Hoops announces today it has finalized its recruiting class for the 2024-25 season. The Lions bring 9 new faces aboard, 5 are transfers, 4 are true freshmen, which includes one name that might be familiar to our viewing area, Gavin El Camille, who graduated from Pittsburgh High School in 2020 before heading to Link Academy, Tulsa, then most recently Southeast Missouri State. Switching gears to baseball, a 2022 Webb City High School grad and two-year Crowder Rough Rider commits to Pittsburgh State today. Cooper Crouch announces on Twitter he's committing to PSU and will join the Gorillas for the upcoming season. Since graduating from Webb City, he has spent the past 2 seasons with Crowder and had a 2.42 ERA his sophomore year. To summer collegiate baseball, the Outlaws on the road facing Piney Woods tonight. They trail 8-3 in the bottom of the 7th at the latest check of that score. These two teams will play each other again tomorrow night at 7. Over to Major League Baseball, the Cardinals' win in Pittsburgh last night brings them 4 games above 500 for the first time this season. Tonight, the Redbirds had a great chance to get to 5 games above 500 for the first time, but they fall to the Pirates in extra innings. After taking a 4-3 lead in the top of the 10th, they allow 2 runs to score in the bottom half of the inning. They end up losing in walk-off fashion. Over in Kansas City, the Royals currently leading the Rays 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bobby Witt Jr., as is often the case, has had a big night at the plate and on the bases. He's got 2 hits, an RBI, and has scored 2 of Kansas City's 4 runs so far. Back to college football with Nate Dreiling. It's a story that reaches back to the 4 states, and for a lot of people watching D1 college football this year, that's another team to root for.
Yeah, and a lot of Pitt State fans remember well
of course
Dreiling's performance when he was with the Gorillas.
Yeah.
Good to see him moving on. We'll be right back. After bringing widespread death and destruction to parts of the Caribbean, Hurricane Beryl is now barreling toward Jamaica as a Category 4 storm. Fox Weather correspondent Robert Ray has the story.
Jamaica bracing for a direct hit from historic Hurricane Beryl. Nearly 3 million people scrambling to make final preparations ahead of the powerful Category 4 storm that's already killed at least a half a dozen people in the Southeast Caribbean.
I'm trusting in the Lord.
Hours before the storm hit, the Prime Minister declared the island a disaster area. A state of emergency will remain in effect for at least the next 7 days. Island-wide curfews were also ordered and evacuations issued for those living in low-lying areas prone to flooding and landslides.
Jamaica must take this hurricane seriously.
While Beryl has weakened significantly from its Category 5 status on Monday, forecasters warn it still packs a punch. It's roaring into Jamaica with wind speeds of more than 140 miles per hour in some areas. Officials are warning locals to expect life-threatening storm surge flooding and damaging waves.
I have no control over what is coming, so I just have to pray that all people of Jamaica is safe.
Before weakening, Beryl devastated several islands in the Caribbean, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The storm flattening homes, buildings, and destroying electrical grids. In Grenada, known as the Spice Isle, the storm also wiped out key agriculture.
To see this level of destruction, it is almost Armageddon-like.
Beryl is expected to continue weakening as it exits Jamaica, makes its way to the Cayman Islands, and then the Yucatan Peninsula. In Jamaica, Robert Ray, Fox News.
Coming up, we're learning about the new movies releasing this weekend in theaters and streaming. It's an international roster for America's birthday eating competition. Contestants weighed in ahead of Nathan's annual 4th of July International Hot Dog Eating Contest. This bun fight is serious business, attracting competitors from as far away as the Czech Republic and Japan. A popular favorite to take home the mustard belt, James Webb.
Tomorrow there's going to be a new champion and it's going to be a great experience, and I'm just happy to be here.
What a gracious guy. What I thought he was going to say is, and that champion's going to be me.
Crowds will turn out in Coney Island tomorrow for the Big Eat. Missing from the competition, reigning champ Joey Chestnut. He's excluded from this year's digestive nightmare over his sponsorship deal with another brand. 4th of July holiday weekend brings a variety of movie options in theaters and streaming. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Meet up with the minions at the movies.
Now, down to business.
The animated adventure Despicable Me 4 brings Gru and his group back to the big screen. Gru, played again by Steve Carell, welcomes the arrival of Gru Jr. while also taking on a new villain.
Now that he is basically a good guy, he's working for the good guys. You know, there's still remnants of who he used to be.
Are you sure these people want us?
The based on a true story drama, Sound of Hope, The Story of Possum Trot, is about Bishop and Donna Martin and their East Texas church, where 22 families adopted 77 foster care children.
I always wanted to be famous.
Ty West and Mia Goth conclude their ex-horror trilogy with Maxine. Set in 1980s Hollywood, the film is centered around the aspiring actress getting her big break as a serial killer on the loose threatens to reveal her sinister past. Co-stars include Halsey, Lily Collins, Moses Sumney, Elizabeth Debicki, and Kevin Bacon.
Did you say Foley?
On Netflix, Eddie Murphy returns as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Part 4 of the franchise has Axel teaming up with a new partner investigating a conspiracy when his daughter's life is threatened. Joining the action comedy are Taylor Page, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Kevin Bacon.
I'm gonna be an astronaut.
Prime Video adds the comedy Space Cadet, starring Emma Roberts as a woman with lifelong astronaut dreams whose embellished application gets her into NASA's training program.
Our little girl's growing up so fast.
Plus, there's the billion-dollar #1 movie at the box office, Inside Out 2, followed by the sci-fi horror prequel, A Quiet Place, Day 1. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a baby snow leopard and its mother at a zoo in Wales. Let's make it a great tomorrow.